Hey guys, welcome back to the Citystead. It's Polar Vortex day number 2. We've survived. Hasn't been that bad. We were down to minus 40. Yeah, this morning it was minus 40. So, kind of been thinking a little bit. Some of the stuff I'm doing here, and I like to grow things, as I told you before, that are kind of out of my zone and don't really fit in. So, I want to kind of tell you a little bit about a couple things I'm really worried about with this Vortex. And I don't know if I did as good of a job as I should have when it came to protecting them. So the first one would be this guy right here, and it's already looking a little rough. This is a honey jar jujube tree. So I'm a little bit worried that this guy's not going to make it. So I wanted to talk about these trees, but it was definitely too cold to be hanging out there, even for this guy who normally only wears a little flannel when he's outside. So that tree, the honey jar jujube tree, is hardy down to zone 5. Now we live in zone 6A, kind of surrounded by a 5B type zone, so we're kind of borderline of that. So in zone 6A, we're down to minus 10 is a normal, like, low temp. And if you go down to 5A, it's like minus 30, I believe. No, 25, 20. Anyway, I think it's about 20, 25. So with this polar vortex, we just spent 3, almost 4 solid days below that. So I have concerns on how this thing will hold up. Here is how I had it. It was in the ground, and it's been there since last winter. So it's gone through one winter. It is in the ground, it has cardboard on it, and it has a good 6 to 7, maybe 8 inches of mulch on top of that. So I know it's somewhat insulated, and then we did get a really good snowfall before this polar vortex. So we've got about 6 or 7 inches of snow on top of that also. And I do know that snow helps insulate the ground a little bit. So I'm hoping that gives us a little bit more protection for that root of this tree. But I have my concerns about how this thing is actually going to handle this polar vortex. So it's definitely one of the trees I'm going to keep keeping an eye on and hoping for the best. We also have another tree back here that I have concerns about. It's probably hard to see, although you might be able to see those killer spikes on this thing. This is a Chinese chi tree, and I'm a little bit nervous about this guy also. That Chinese chi tree, or Chinese mulberry as it's sometimes called, is in the same situation as the jujube tree. So it's got the same setup where it's got cardboard, wood chips, and then hopefully the snow was doing some kind of insulation for it. Now with the chi tree, it's more on the edge of our zone, being that it is the 6 to 10 hardiness. And like I said, we're zone 6A. We're kind of like in a weird pocket in our state that a lot of places around us are 5B. So that's another one that's very iffy on whether or not I covered it good enough, or if I should have tried to do more for it. So we'll be keeping an eye on this one also. Then I got one other thing that we've been growing here. And I'm not as nervous about this one because it's been here for 3 years now, and it has survived every time. So usually it dies down all the way down to the ground, and the new shoots actually come right out of the ground. And that would be these Chicago hardy figs. So you can see I don't trim these until spring or late winter. This is probably the one I'm not as nervous about, this tree particularly, being that it is supposed to be pretty hardy in the winter and has come back the past 3 years. With the Chicago Hardy Fig, it's supposed to be good from zone 5 to zone 10. Now, I have had this thing for a while, and every year it dies all the way down to the ground. And it comes back new shoots every year. So I'm thinking this one will probably be okay. But it's another one I'm just really concerned about just because of the amount of cold air we had and the duration for which it actually lasted at that extreme temperature. And this one, I don't normally prune into early in the spring. So those dead shoots don't worry me at all. What I was hoping to accomplish when I mulched around this one was that it would actually start sprouting over the ground and not always under the ground. But it's just another one we'll have to keep an eye on, and hopefully nothing really bad comes of it and this tree survives also, and all three of our kind of borderline trees will actually make it through the chaos that has been the polar vortex. So that's it. There's 3 things I have growing out here that this vortex has got me concerned for. Thought I wanted to share that with you guys. And if you got any tips or tricks or ideas for me on what I could have done better, that would be good to know. Okay guys, that was a little bit of a video about some of the things I'm concerned about that I have grown in my yard and the damage that this polar vortex may have caused on them. Are you guys growing anything that you're concerned about with the polar vortex knocking out and taking from you? Because these are 3 that I'm really concerned I'm going to have to keep a good eye on and hope that they actually make it through this and I don't have to replant anything, especially being that some of them are already pretty established. And I would hate to have to start over again, especially with that fig tree, man. Because it's finally getting to the point where it's growing like 5-foot sprouts every year. So I really want that thing to survive and not not have anything bad have happened to it. So if you guys found this video interesting or liked it, you know, give us the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. One of those sides. And come back and visit us again next time. We'll see you later. Out of here.